In episode 6, Kamiko feels like she did something wrong. As she's just eating some ice cream, trying to text Frenchie, she gets taken by one of little Nina's guys. She wakes up in an abandoned building, chained, and right next to her is Cherry. Frenchie then gets brought in, and it's clear that he's been tortured. He's also naked, and he gets chained to a pole. And while little Nina is emasculating him, Kamiko takes matters in her own hands. She's able to break free of the chains and kills one of the guys with a popsicle stick. Cherry is also able to bust out of her restraints. And at the end of it, all of Nina's guys are dead, thanks to Kamiko. Little Nina is long gone, and Frenchie is saved. Frenchie takes both Cherry and Kamiko back to a place to patch Kamiko up because she's banged up pretty good. And they both are just kind of feeling sorry for themselves. Frenchie makes a comment that no matter how hard they try, they just can't outrun their past lives. But at the end of it, at least they have each other. That is a blip on the radar, though, compared to what's going on at Vought Tower. Homelander, The Deep, Ashley, and Black Noir have gotten video of Crimson Countess's chimp sanctuary just going up in flames. And when they zoom in, they see a very familiar face, even though they don't believe it. It's Soldier Boy. They realize they need to do some kind of crisis management, so Homelander says, all right, don't worry, I'll find him and I'll kill him. Well, he pulls Black Noir to the side because Soldier Boy was Black Noir's team leader, and he starts asking him his take on it. Black Noir might give Homelander an answer. We honestly don't know, but as soon as Homelander walks away and Black Noir gets on an elevator, he carves out the tracking beacon in his arm, and he flees, getting the hell out of there. Because with Soldier Boy back, he doesn't want to be anywhere near the facility. A couple hours later, the Deep notices that Black Noir cut out his tracking chip. He goes and tells Homelander about it. Homelander is in absolute disbelief, but both Cassandra and the Deep tell Homelander that they feel like Black Noir ran because Crimson Countess was just the start. And if he's going after his whole team, that includes Noir. But the good news is they figure they know where he's going next, and that's the TNT twins. They live up in Vermont. That's the closest spot. Homelander tells Deep, go up there, and if Soldier Boy does show up, you call me. But there is no question that Homelander is sweating this situation. But the Deep is not the only person with that theory. Mother's Milk has the same exact theory, that Soldier Boy is going after his own team. Mother's Milk is sitting in his apartment, gearing up for an absolute war, and telling his theory to Starlight. The good news is Mother's Milk also has the address for the TNT twins, and he doesn't think Billy has it. But at the same time, he knows that it's not going to take long for Billy to get that address. He's going to have to wait, though, because Starlight gets a phone call from Ashley telling her that she's needed at Vought Tower. So Starlight's going to have to leave. But right before she does, she tells Mother's Milk, don't do anything stupid, because right now, it's just on us. Starlight then heads over to Vought Tower because she has a TV hit to do with Homelander. It's propaganda just to say that they have the whole situation completely under control. There's nothing to worry about. But she can tell that Homelander is shook. She gets a little frazzled herself when Victoria Newman shows up to do the hit on TV. Luckily for her, the cameras start rolling shortly after Victoria shows up, and they're able to just lie to the public saying, yeah, we're pretty close to catching this guy. But during the interview, the questions aren't really to Homelander's liking, so he calls the interviewer a hack and storms off. With the cameras off, Victoria asks for a couple of minutes with Starlight, and while she doesn't want to give her that couple minutes, she reluctantly agrees. They head up to an office, and Victoria asks, where's Huey? And Starlight covers for him, saying, oh, he's fishing with his dad. And Victoria says, oh, okay. I was worried that he was scared I was going to pop his head. And that stops Starlight right in her tracks. Starlight starts flashing her eyes at Victoria, but Victoria says, don't worry, I'm not going to kill you or Huey or your families. I actually want to help you. Annie, the fact is you need me. You're all alone. I mean, that hashtag Homelight stuff looks like a hostage video. And now you have to play nice with the Deep. And Maeve, I mean, they say she's in rehab, but really, who knows? I mean, reality is she's probably dead. But you're America's sweetheart. You have 193 million Instagram followers. So lend me your influence and I'll lend you mine. I can protect you from Homelander. You'll finally be team captain for real. And in return, you'll help me boost up my numbers. I'll finally be able to get my education reform bill passed. And while it's a very enticing offer, Starlight stands up and says, no, I'm so sick of people telling me that I have to be a crappy person in order to win. All this whatever it takes crap, I'm done with it. She basically tells Victoria Newman to either pop her head or kick rocks because she's not doing it. And Victoria doesn't pop her head, just telling her, I hope we can keep this between us. It'd be really tough to take out America's sweetheart, but it's not impossible. And just to prove it, she leaves Annie with a nosebleed. But this is going to come as a surprise to a lot of people. Huey was not fishing with his dad. All the theories that everybody had about what Soldier Boy is up to is dead on accurate. Huey and Billy were able to convince Soldier Boy that he needs them, and in return, all they ask is that he kill Homelander. Billy goes off to try to track down the address of the TNT twins, which leaves just Huey and Soldier Boy alone in the hotel room. And Huey asks Soldier Boy what happened in Midtown, but he tells him, I don't know. I blacked out for about 10 minutes. When I came to, the damage was done. I didn't mean to hurt those people. I'm not a bad guy. Huey asks him, that won't happen again, right? And Soldier Boy just tells him, only if they've got it coming. The awkwardness then gets interrupted because Billy has returned and he has the address for the TNT twins. So the trio heads up to Vermont. But before they do, they have to shoot up with Temp V. But while they're heading up there, Mother's Milk and Starlight are way ahead of them. During the drive, Mother's Milk tells Starlight exactly why he's got beef with Soldier Boy. When he was a little boy, he looked out the window and he saw Soldier Boy pull up on a bunch of kids that were trying to steal a Mercedes-Benz, and he ran to wake up his grandfather and tell him, hey, Soldier Boy's outside. But then all of a sudden, Soldier Boy threw that Benz through their house. It killed his grandfather. Narrowly missed him, but ever since, he's been terrified that Soldier Boy's going to come back and finish the job. So at this point, he just needs to kill Soldier Boy to get him out of his head. It's obviously going to be a lot easier said than done. They then arrive at the TNT twins' house, and they realize there's a party going on. Or more like an orgy. It's Herogasm 2022. It's exactly as it sounds. It's an orgy with superheroes. And while they weren't invited, Starlight's a big enough name to get her and Mother's Milk through the door. Let me just say, most of the images I cannot show, or my entire channel is getting demonetized. While Mother's Milk and Starlight showed up just to warn the TNT twins, they realized, though, that they have a much bigger issue because if Soldier Boy shows up, all of these people are endangered. So they got to warn these people to get them out. The first superhero that she recognizes that she sees is Blue Hawk. And she tries to warn Blue Hawk to get out of there, but Blue Hawk doesn't feel like there's any danger, especially after what Homelander said. He even pulls the, do your research, to Starlight of all people. The second superhero she runs into is the Deep. The Deep went there on Homelander's orders, but Herogasm waits for no man, and the TNT twins had a fish tank. You can see where this is going. It's awkward, but the Deep does fill Annie in on Homelander's plans. And that really boosts Annie's concerns even more because if Homelander does show up and Soldier Boy shows up and these two start fighting, then it's not going to end well for anybody in that house. And to make matters worse for Annie, she's completely unaware of the fact that Soldier Boy has shown up. Soldier Boy, Billy, Huey, they're outside of the house surveying the situation, and the only reason Soldier Boy hasn't shown up yet is because Huey convinced him to give him 3 minutes, find out exactly where the TNT twins are, so nobody else does get hurt. So while Annie's trying to warn people to get out of there, Huey is naked, walking through the house, and trying to locate the TNT twins. He does, and as he goes to leave, he runs into a familiar face, the A-Train. Although the A-Train is not there for the orgy. The A-Train went to Ashley earlier in the day looking for answers on what they plan to do about Blue Hawk. But Ashley, who is so stressed out, freaked out at A-Train, telling him that he's got a lot of revisionist history. He's only concerned about this because it happened to him. What about the 3 murders that he caused that Ashley had to clean up? It's a lot for A-Train to think about, but it's clear that Ashley isn't going to do anything about Blue Hawk, so he tried to track Blue Hawk down himself. And he tracked him down to the orgy. When Huey and A-Train run into each other, A-Train starts kind of making fun of Huey for even being there, which Huey reminds him, hey, but you're here too. But then Huey remembers that he's a soup now. So he puts on a robe and says, hey, by the way, you never apologized for Robin. Totally getting ready to beat the crap out of A-Train. But to his surprise, the A-Train does apologize. Because after what Ashley said, he has had time to reflect. And he realizes that those murders really did have an effect on other people. Just like what happened with his brother is having an effect on him. He's finally starting to see the light. But even though he apologized, it wasn't what Huey was thinking, and it's not as satisfying as he wanted to, so he ends up punching A-Train in the face. And the strength of Huey shocks A-Train. But that's when Annie sees the two fighting. She gets in the middle of it and breaks it up. Starlight grabs Huey, pulls him to the side, and says, we gotta clear this house now. But as Huey tries to convince Starlight that Soldier Boy is not going to come in there and kill everybody, Soldier Boy shows up. Huey doesn't want anything to happen to Starlight, so he teleports her out of there, and the two start getting into a fight about Huey, quote, saving Starlight, and Starlight feeling like Huey doesn't need to save her. It all boils down to Huey's insecurity. While he told Starlight originally that her being more powerful didn't bother him, it kind of does. But while those two argue safely away from the house, back inside the house, Mother's Milk gets eyes on Soldier Boy, and he throws a canister that he thinks is going to knock him out, but it doesn't. Mother's Milk then tells Soldier Boy, "You killed my family," and he gets ready for a fight that he clearly would lose. And while he doesn't think it, Mother's Milk is lucky because Billy shows up and tells Soldier Boy, "Hey, we're not killing him. Twins are upstairs." As Soldier Boy goes up to take care of the twins, Mother's Milk is still trying to get at him, and Billy has to literally hold him back. Mother's Milk's so pissed off, he starts attacking Billy, but because Billy is all hopped up on Temp V, it doesn't really affect him. Upstairs, though, Soldier Boy has located the twins, and they start telling him that they had nothing to do with it, and it was actually all Black Noir's doing. But Soldier Boy doesn't even believe that, because Black Noir, out of all of them, was the biggest Vought puppet. They swear that it's true, and then all of a sudden, Soldier Boy gets really distracted by a radio that is playing a Russian song. As he's distracted by it, the TNT twins decide, you know what, let's try to get rid of them with our powers, but they're so rusty it doesn't work. And the exact same thing that happened in Midtown happens in the house. Soldier Boy just explodes, killing the twins and injuring a whole lot of people while destroying the house. Luckily for Billy and Mother's Milk, they were in the basement, so they're not as banged up, but Mother's Milk is hurt. In the distance, both Annie and Huey hear what's going on, so they rush back to the house. And what they find is a slew of superheroes who are coming out of the wreckage really injured, a lot of them dead. Two guys who seem to be perfectly fine are Blue Hawk and the A-Train. And as Blue Hawk is trying to leave, the A-Train goes up to him, and he's finally ready to get justice. He grabs him by the neck, throws him down on the ground, and then grabs his foot and runs as fast as he can, dragging him behind him, killing him as his body just gets ripped apart on the pavement. But the warning that his doctor gave him rears its ugly head, because eventually the A-Train has to stop. His heart is giving out, and he just collapses to the ground. Back at the house, Soldier Boy comes downstairs and sees Billy and asks him what happened, having no idea that he was what happened. But then another person comes down the steps, and it's Homelander. He's not surprised at all to see Billy Butcher behind this. And then he and Soldier Boy start trading insults back and forth, with them both getting into a ridiculous pissing contest. But then they zip up their flies, and they start to fight. As they're fighting, Annie comes rushing in and grabs Mother's Milk before he makes a terrible decision, telling him that there are people outside that need his help. So Annie and Mother's Milk go and try to help out the victims. But while Soldier Boy seems to be rusty and not really a match by himself for Homelander, Huey and Billy also get involved, and it's 3 versus 1. It looks like it's about to be curtains for Homelander, but he ends up muscling out and flying off. When he gets back to Vought Tower, though, he is concerned because it's the first real test he actually has faced. The trio then make their way out of the house, and as they're leaving, they see Annie and Mother's Milk, and both Annie and Mother's Milk give them a death stare. That night, though, Annie decides to do something about it. She has Mother's Milk film her on Instagram Live saying that there are 12 heroes and civilians dead. A whole lot more are wounded, and Homelander and Vought are going to tell you that it was a supervillain and they have it under control, but they don't, because the supervillain that they're talking about is actually Soldier Boy. He's alive. And the reality is Soldier Boy doesn't care about protecting Americans, and he probably never has, because most heroes don't care about anybody. Most heroes only care about their image. And Homelander is the worst of all of them. He's hurt people. He's done something to Maeve. And truthfully, I don't know what they're going to do to me for telling the truth, but I'm going to keep doing it. And I should have done it sooner. And also, I'm no longer Starlight. My name is Annie January, and I quit. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.